Sant Cugat Sesgarrigues is a town in El Penedès region where one of the main economic activities is the agriculture. In fact, nearly 71% of its area is dedicated to cultivation, and 86.3% of the fields are vineyards. There are also other plants such as cereals, fruit trees, or olive trees, but in very small quantities. The cultivation of vines in Sant Cugat Sesgarrigues is all destined to the manufacture of wine and cava, and for this reason, the grape harvest is a very busy period for the inhabitants. All the first part of the 20th century, the majority of farmers in Sant Cugat made wine in a domestic way. It was a difficult job, and they needed a lot of hours of work in the fields and in the houses, and it meant less and less benefits. This is why some farmers sold the grapes directly to the manufacturers of wine. They had less work, but they won less money. This is why, when it appeared the wine cooperative of Penedès, a lot of farmers decided to become part of the organization. It facilitated the work because grapes could be sold, and they didn't need to elaborate the wine at home with simple tools, and they were part of the whole process from the elaboration to the marketing. Nowadays, the most cultivated variety of grapes in Sant Cugat is Xarel·lo, with 67.4% of the whole production. But there are other varieties, such as Macabeu, which is 16.5%, and Parellada, 5.5%. So the 93.2% of the production is targeted to white wine. Even though some black varieties are also cultivated, such as Merlot Pinot Noir and Ull de Llebre, but they just get to 7%. The harvest period starts at the end of August and finishes at the end of September. In the old times, it was done by hand, but now it is usually done mechanically as it facilitates the correct moment of maturation. Sant Cugat counts on some very important cellars as Caves Alicia of Freixenet Group. Before they were called René Barbier, and of course the wine cooperative of Penedès. Caves Alicia are located in the old Chandon cellars in a group of buildings dated from 1987 and 1989. In 1991, they were finalists in the prizes Construmat. Here, they elaborate some of their best wines, and one of the secrets is precisely the peculiarity of the building. To keep the wine, the cellars are underground and isolated by an artificial pond 1 meter deep, which is on the building's roof, and in this way it maintains the temperature and the humidity stable. The elaboration of wine in the two cellars is quite similar, as both are pioneers in the technology they use to do all the process. Grapes get to the cellars, and the acidity grade is measured as well as the sugar levels, because a correct quantity of sugar is necessary to start the alcoholic fermentation, during which the bacteria transform the sugars into ethylic alcohol. Once this is measured, grapes start the winification phase. The first stage is to be destemmed. This is done because the stem contains a lot of tannins and it would add a sour taste to the wine. When the wine is destemmed, the grapes are softly crushed using a rubber roller. The result is the must, which is freshly pressed grape juice that contains the skins, seeds and solids. To finish this process and take all the juice out of the grapes, a press is used. The white grapes are pressed before fermenting, and in this way, when they are pressed, the must is separated from the breeze, that is the skin and the seed. Once the must is separated, it is put into the vessels or tanks, and the fermentation starts. In this process, the yeasts that the grapes contain get in contact with the must, and they transform the sugars into alcohol, carbonic gas, and heat. Nowadays, there are some techniques that allow to control the fermentation to obtain and secure a good quantity, such as the stainless steel tanks with a controlled temperature for the refreshing liquid circulation. The final wine has to be filtered to eliminate the deposit as a result of the fermentation process. Depending on the wine characteristics, it can be bottled right away, or we can give the wine additional aging to improve its qualities.